I've got to get my song.
It's already a fucking debacle. My first one back in nearly 6 months, and he can't even get the fucking song organized.
This is for you. I wanna comb through my hair and step into the street. And the city's the color of flame in the midsummer heat. Oh yeah. Jennifer's got daddy's car. She's playing Uptown on the stereo. We go cruising so close the way we did long ago. Oh, darling, turn the radio up for that sweet sound. Hold me close, never let me go. Keep this feeling alive, make me lose control.
By far,
baby.
one of the greatest 80s songs of all time.
Eric Carmen.
Hands down, yes.
Eric Carmen, motherfuckers.
Yes, motherfucker.
That's right. It was awesome. That's an applause.
Yeah.
To us.
Thank you.
You know what?
You can't see it at home, but I'm bowing.
Let me introduce this bullshit. This is Invert the Y episode, Stardate Log, Captain's Log 12.1.5.9, and the USS Invert the Y is orbiting another planet origin moon. Bullshit! And I got him back. Not Jason Relaxation, who's not part of this bullshit podcast.
Not today.
Probably not ever.
Oh.
No, he'll come back.
Some harsh words.
He'll come back.
Harsh words.
I got him back. Super Simon.
Super motherfucking Simon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm making my triumphant return from all of the smack talk from your other guests, the challenges, the bullshit, all of it. It's back. I'm back.
Who's your beef with? Sassy Sahuni. Shout out to her.
Not as much a beef, just as much as like a fuck you, but like a nice, fun, bantery fuck you. You know? It's not like, oh, I'm going to throw down. What if fucking she know? Whatever. Just fucking just come in here and talk World of Warcraft.
Because when you walk through the door, I'm not bullshitting. When you walk through the door this morning,
yeah,
all I could think of, look at the ass, King. Look at the ass. My God almighty, King.
He's a sick, twisted individual.
Human being, King. What's happened to Super Simon? Find out on pay-per-view.
It's very good to be back. I've had some stuff go on in the last, 6 months-ish.
You know what? I think the last episode you were on, off the top of my head, was episode 27.
Fuck. What are we up to now? Like 65?
Well, you know what? I can do whatever I want because he's not here anymore.
Is this episode N64? 48.
I might upload. And let me just check on the list. I think it is if it's 48. I'm going to upload it as 48. Fucking.
It's gold.
Because he's not here to defend himself. Mussolini. Yep, 48.
48.
Episode 48, folks.
Good Lord.
I'm calling it. That means I've got to make some.
That means you have to make this one.
I've actually got some work to do now.
You realise you just fucked yourself, right?
Don't care, mate.
Yeah, I know.
I've been doing that for 44 years.
Hairy palms, too hairy to hide. Yeah. You and your fucking soundboard.
It's awesome.
Have you got the Crickets one set up so that if somebody says something fucking stupid?
We had it, but I think what happened was we preloaded sound effects like intros, outros.
Right.
And accidentally, I think Jason Relaxation overrode.
Accidentally.
Yeah, well, he was all. We're just talking about it, right?
Yeah.
You know how he goes like 100 miles an hour and he does. We uploaded. You can upload on this board preset sounds or something.
Yeah.
And I think he overwrote by accident the cricket sound effects. But then he realized you've actually got like multiple data banks that you can assign.
Oh, so you can have like double press. For
Yeah. There's like
cool.
It goes. I think it's like 32 sounds you can have on this thing. But
I have to say, Dad's basement is looking very
Dad's
professional.
garage.
Sorry, Dad's garage. Dad's garage is looking very professional.
Come a long way, man.
You've got like a proper table that's not falling apart. The leaks stopped. The cat smell's going. Like it's all getting better.
The cat smell. Fucking cat smell, you prick. Welcome back.
I couldn't help myself.
Well, it's good to see you back, man.
It's great to be back.
If I had any tear ducts, I had them removed because they show weakness. I'd have a little moist tear.
You were the kid that took the soldering iron to your tear ducts just to seal them.
Yeah, I'd have like tears. Shout out to the Cookie Queen. We just went back with him. We came back from coffee, right? And there was this dude in this coffee place. No bullshit. He had 2 tear tattoos.
Oh fuck.
I think that means they have
You have to
people,
you have
right?
to avoid those people. They're the scary
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
he had two tear tattoos.
Jesus Christ.
So I said, fuck this place.
Woof.
I couldn't do it.
So clearly going to some classy establishments.
I said to her, we were on the wrong side of the tracks even for me. This is not a good place. I went, fuck this place. Yeah, I said, there is more than one cafe in this area. We could have gone to any other
Did
cafe.
you go to the one at the prison? Is that the one you went to?
This was like, should have been near prison. It was not good. It was a fucked up place.
It's like, this is the Silverwater special. You get a free shiv with every third purchase.
Super Simon, welcome back.
Thank you, my friend.
We do have a topic of the show.
We do.
What have you got for us? You want to talk to us about your favorite or the most important video game characters in the history of video games, yeah?
So the idea around my return was because it's gotten a bit off topic about video games over the last however long. I mean, Sahini's been keeping the thing alive, which has been great. And is it Russell's been doing the...
Rocket Russell.
Rocket Russell's been doing the conspiracy theory stuff, which I have genuinely enjoyed.
He's got some wacky
They're
shit.
so fucking weird, man.
Yeah. He's got a cracker.
Nervous Nate, he's been doing great.
Yep, Nervous Nathan.
Who's the
the
Englishman?
drunken monkey. Yeah.
Drunk monkey.
Yeah, the one with the Cockney accent.
Yep. You realise he doesn't have a Cockney accent, right? You know that, yeah?
Oh, can you do your Jason Statham for me again?
I certainly can. You ready?
This is cracker. This is
All right,
beautiful.
so this is my impression of Jason Statham reading a kid's book.
Yep.
Chumbly Wumbly was a bear. Chumbly Wumbly had no hair. So Chumbly Wumbly wasn't very fuzzy, was he? See, you chuck that in, which completely degrades the quality of the experience.
I know. Well, sorry, man.
Hey, you're good. That's better.
You got it now. You're back, baby. You made it.
It's good to be back. I keep saying it.
I know, man. I feel like we've come full circle. It's been so long since you've been here.
Well, it's like I said, I've had some shit go on. I had a kid,
Yeah.
had my third, which has been a lot of fun. He's a
Yeah.
funny little guy.
I've seen the Instagrams.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Yep.
He's a good boy. He's sleeping, which is thankful. Fuck. Now, if I could only get the other two to sleep, then we'd be fine.
Oh, well, they'll get there one day.
Yeah, she'll be right.
When they're in uni or something.
Yeah, when they're like 22 and still living at home,
And then they'll be keeping you up for other reasons.
shiftless layabouts.
That's it. Fucking
Don't,
smashed.
don't talk about that. I don't want to fucking think about that.
That's
I got
right,
they're very little at the moment. I don't want to fucking think about that at all. No,
He
sorry.
got it just at the last minute. It took him a little bit.
I'm a bit slow on the uptake
He's
now.
not firing on
Nah.
all cylinders. Okay, so you got a list of characters
So-
from the video game world that you wanted to talk to us about that you
So
think are
these are-
iconic.
In my opinion, in sort of the last, I mean, obviously we're gonna go back to sort of the generations of gaming because we're up to what, the 6th console generation almost. Eighth.
We're heading into the 9th.
Lord.
So when the Xbox Scarlet and the PS5 come out, that'll be the 9th generation of consoles. We're currently on the 8th. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. And I go back to, as a kid, the second generation.
Which was second? We're talking Coleco. Or are we
Maybe the
talking
third,
Nintendo?
actually. We're talking Atari 2600. We're talking that kind of era.
So my first gen was really Game Boy. So 89 and then Nintendo, the NES.
NES is
That's second?
Third.
Third.
I think. I could be wrong. I think it might be third.
Yeah.
Because fourth is like Mega Drive
Yeah. And Super Nintendo.
and Super Nintendo. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Because
So there's some very interesting characters in this list that I've
Hit
found
me
up.
with
We're
it.
not going to go through all of them
No.
because there's fucking
I've
hundreds
got
of
shit
them.
to do.
But and you know we're already what
Oh,
10 minutes in.
I can
15
tell you
minutes?
now. 9 minutes.
9
22
minutes. Oh my god,
seconds.
we're so efficient.
I've come. I'm a professional.
A
Unlike
professional what?
I'm a pro.
I was wondering what that red light at the front of the garage was.
No, that's up the street.
Yes, of course.
you remember that?
I do remember
There was
that.
no bullshit. There was two special.
They've since been ejected.
They've
haven't
been
they?
ejected.
Yes.
There was two, no bullshit. There were two special people giving special hugs that lived in this
Special
neighborhood
hugs.
down my driveway.
Special cuddles.
Right. And I told you the story
You
about when
did.
Jason Relaxation and he drove me home one day from somewhere, And we pulled up at the front of the units here, and there was a red light in the window.
Because nothing screams caution like a red light.
There was a red light
in the front of your
front,
fucking house.
right?
Jesus.
And here's the best bit. The owner says to me, we had like an annual general meeting, AGM, and she says, "Oh, my tenants are great." I went, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, real good.
They're fucking great." You don't know.
They're great. They're expensive,
You don't know
but they're great.
But you know what the best bit was? She says, "Oh yeah, I saw him come out the other day, thinking it was the tenant." She goes, "What do you mean him?" I go, "Yeah, there's a guy." There shouldn't be. So I've opened up Pandora's box. I go, "Well, there is. He's a big boy, and he leaves a long neck at the front he has a long neck for breakfast, this bloke." No bullshit. Because
Breakfast of champions.
He's got work boots and he leaves a long neck at the front. Every day I see this long neck, right? And he and she says, "Well, there shouldn't be a guy there." I go, "Well, there is." But I didn't tell her there was many guys at one point.
Well, I mean, it depends how busy the weekends are. Am I right? Hey, perfect.
Yeah. So give me this fucking list. What's your first one?
All right, so fairly contemporary. We're talking sort of last, God, how long? Last sort of 10 years. Commander Shepard.
Oh, Mass Effect.
From the Mass Effect
series.
Could be either a male or a female because choice.
Femshep.
Femshep.
Yep.
Were you a Femshep or were you a male shep?
I've played Mass Effect a couple of times, and I have played Femshep once.
Do you find there's a big difference when you play as Femshep, or do you play it the same way?
I play it the same way only because when I'm Femshep, I get to have sex with girls.
So there's a first time for everything. Hey!
That's right. Because I told you the story about Mass Effect 2, right?
You did.
I was such a loser. I'm such a fucking loser, man. I'm playing Mass Effect 2.
Got it on with Miranda.
Oh man, I chased that chick for hours, right? And and you know when the bit where she's like halfway, through the game, she's like, "I think we're crazy, but if you want to, I don't think we're ready." And I'm like, "Fuck this, man! This is like real life, right?" And then finally, she says, "Let's get it on." But then the Xbox 360 came over like two DVDs. So
insert disc 2.
You had to get off
what
your
a
ass.
fucking mood killer, Jesus.
It was, man. You had to get off your ass and stick the second disc in the disc drive. And
Phrasing.
And then you had to get in. Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
And then you had to then you saw the shitty cutscene of Miranda and you getting it on.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But no, Femshep and, actually, I reckon the voice acting for Femshep was better than the voice acting for male
This
Shep.
is what everybody had
told me. A lot of people
me,
say that too, yeah.
is that the Femshep had better characterization, better emotion.
Did.
Femshep, regular Shepard was very, generic American sounding person. It's like, "Hello, I am Commander Shepard of the USS Mass Effect," whatever the fuck. I never played it.
You never played it?
Never played it.
That was the Normandy, by the way.
Normandy, thank you. I did start playing 2.
2's the best.
And everybody said 2's the best. And then it was like a 50 fucking hour game. Who has time for that?
You don't.
Exactly.
But I've got nothing.
You have nothing but time. And I have nothing.
I'm a fucking,
no time.
I'm an unproductive loser. I'll admit it. I got way too much time. I'm the envy of many people, but really, there's nothing to be envious of. But the point is that Mass Effect 2, some people actually don't think it's the best one. They actually think the first one is because...
As long as we universally agree that 3 wasn't.
I've said this to you before. Let me go back a step. Mass Effect 1, people say that was better because the RPG elements were better in Mass Effect 1.
Whereas 2
and
was
2
more
they
combat
stripped them out a little bit and it was more combat focused, but I prefer 2. I think 2's the best. 3,
from all of the research I've done, 2 had the best story, had the best characters, and the best overall experience.
100%. But 3 was...
3 and Andromeda were basically garbage.
Okay, so 3 was okay up until the 3/4 mark. I've been over this, right? I don't want to go over it again. And we all know the choose your colour simulator at the end.
Ah, yeah.
And I told the story about how Pedro came over here and spent a whole day playing Mass Effect 2 for me again so I could transfer the file across to Mass Effect 3.
Because he's a very good friend.
Because he's my bestest good friend, right?
He's my best good friend.
Shout out to him. He never listens to this. That's as good of a friend he is, right?
Hey, look, you know what? He's very busy.
Oh, fucking no. You could swap notes with him. You could compare notes. Terrible. But Mass Effect 3, I actually didn't have a problem with it up until the end because the end had this really strange difficulty spike.
Yeah.
And it just went, it wasn't fun towards it. It was a grind at the end.
And see, that's where games make it, that's where you lose your audience, when the game becomes so unnecessarily difficult for no reason to then just completely kill off the great experience you've had. It's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, but
Why
Shepard
bother?
was a great character.
Yeah.
But there are other great characters in that game too, like Garrus.
Garrus
was a great
fantastic.
character. Miranda was great too.
See, and this was the thing, I played about probably 10 hours of Mass Effect 2.
What was Joker, who was played by what was his name?
Seth Green.
Seth Green.
And I'm a huge fan of Seth Green, like the robot chicken stuff and everything. Basically anything he does, I'm a fan of.
Yeah, so there was heaps of characters. That's what made that game so great, because there were so many characters in that game.
And really good voice acting.
Awesome.
With the exception of Shepard. Except Fem Shepard.
Even male Shepard was okay.
Yeah.
It was just very boring. But Fem Shepard was definitely better.
Yeah.
Voice actor. What's your next one?
So going into a new game series, another all-expansive game series from Assassin's Creed. Now,
Ezio.
Yes, absolutely. Because Altair, fine.
Yep.
Every other one after Ezio, I have no idea, because who the fuck knows?
Yeah, who
But
cares?
Ezio was an interesting, funny, relatable character while still, cutting motherfuckers. But a very cool Italian Lothario whilst also being a total badass.
See, you know what? That's what hurt Assassin's Creed 3.
Yep. Connor was fucking
because Connor was boring.
But
you know what? The
Jesus Christ.
setting arguably was more interesting, because it was the American Civil War, wasn't it? Around that time,
it was set. This was like
independence, wasn't it? The Americans were seeking independence.
I think no,
At that
because
era.
so it was still Connor was a Native American,
Yeah, but what was the setting?
and
here?
there was also it was like colonial America.
Yeah.
So it was set probably, I think, 1700s ish. I'll have to look that up.
Just look it up. But I think the setting was probably more exciting than what we had. 3 games of Ezio, didn't we?
We had 2 good games and 1 piece of shit.
What was your piece of shit game with him?
So there was Assassin's Creed 2, then there was Brotherhood, and then there was the
Revelations.
That's it, which was the fucking garbage. It was essentially an add-on that they sold as a full game.
Yeah, it
And
was
also,
okay.
to a degree, I also wasn't a massive fan of.
Older Ezio,
Yeah,
because he was a bit dry and boring.
This was the thing. He lost a lot of that spark that made the character interesting, because he was old and grizzled, and they were trying to go for like gritty realism, but at the same time, they just lost the panache that he had.
Yeah.
which sucked.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3 was set in sometime. Hang on one second. Good old internet.
You know what?
Originally released in 2012.
It was 2012.
We got time for an ad. Why did you do us an ad?
If you're trying to work out what era Assassin's Creed 3 is, why don't you use Google? That's right. Google will tell you everything you absolutely need to know, including what is the average length of a penis. I know, I've looked it up.
It was a short search, was it?
It was a very... Google. We're not sponsored by Google, but I wish we were, because then I know we would have made it.
If we were sponsored by Google,
If we
I
were
think we would
sponsored
be
by
in
Google,
a much better
but
position.
they also are a bit like Cyberdyne in a lot of ways. They're tracking us.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a bit paranoid.
They know full well what's going on.
They know exactly how it's going to go down. Google, check it out today. We're not sponsored by Google. I wish we were.
I wish we were. That'd be nice. Plot is set in fictional history of real-world events and following the centuries-old struggle between the Assassins and the Templars. Blah, 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 blah. Desmond Miles, bullshit.
Yeah,
blah,
Desmond.
Blah, blah. American Revolution, 1974
okay, yep.
to 1754 to 1783.
Okay, right, cool. Revolution, yeah.
Half English, half Mohawk. Anyway, I'm getting off topic because this was the shitty one.
The setting was awesome. The problem is with Connor, he was just a boring, dry character.
Correct.
And we came off the back of Ezio, who was charismatic and a womanizer and all that shit.
But also interesting, and his interplay with Leonardo da Vinci was great.
He had interesting
and
characters.
His motivation was good, and there was so much about that character that made him interesting. It made you want to play it. That's why they were able to squeeze 2 mediocre sequels out of Assassin's Creed 2. Because the character was so interesting.
Yeah.
What Ubisoft did, as classic Ubisoft style, is they ran the fucking franchise into the ground before they even made a third. Like these were just 2.25 and 2.6 essentially,
They
Assassin's Creed.
They probably should have stopped after Brotherhood.
But
Was it I always get them mixed up. Brotherhood, then Revelations, or Revelation,
I think
then
Brotherhood was the second Ezio story, and then there was
Revelations
was the last one with Old Man Ezio.
You see, I didn't like Old Man Ezio because he was
neither.
dry and boring himself.
But also they added all this minigame bullshit like the fucking tower defense side of things, which was like, what? That's not why you're playing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like this is the whole point of the game is we have beautiful vistas, amazing combat, jumping off things and landing in hay bales and somehow surviving.
Yeah.
And that was the game with some of the weird retro future, like the futuristic stuff tapped in for, pacing.
Yeah.
So
What's your next one?
this is another this is a retro classic. So
Yep.
this is one from my childhood, Earthworm Jim.
Oh, that was on the Mega Drive / Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, two games.
I think the fourth generation of console, maybe the third.
There were two wonderful games, both 2D platformers released in I think 91 and then 93, or 93 then 95. Absolutely incredible comedy, great, still to this day some of the best music in a video game. And just an incredibly charismatic, funny, weird character, really good universe, like great world building. The last official Earthworm Jim game that wasn't a re-release or a remaster was on the N64, which was Earthworm Jim 3D. And it was a pretty subpar third-person action platformer. Not a great game, but the character was fantastic. It was an animated series that was spun off. Fun fact, voiced by Dan Castellaneta, who does Homer Simpson amongst a myriad of other characters, which also added to the characters just hilarity and character. I'm saying character a lot, but wonderful, hilarious, and super, super weird. Back when video games took risks about their main characters being essentially a genetically enhanced earthworm in a super suit. So he was kind of combination of Captain America and Iron Man, and I guess the Hulk, kind of? I don't know. But super fun.
I've just depressed myself, Super Simon.
What did you do?
This has depressed me, right? Because I wanted to clarify it because I thought I was wrong and I was, and I want to clear it up. The generation of consoles. So 100% we're on the 8th.
Go on.
But this is what's depressed the shit out of me. You ready for it?
Go on.
The first generation of console was from 1972 to 1984.
Yeah.
Which included things like the Fairchild Channel F. I have one.
I've never heard of that console.
I've got one. RCA Studio 2. I don't have one. Might look that up on eBay.
the
Bally,
buy it now.
Now the Bally Astrocade. I have one. Shout out to Fantastic Phil. That's his favourite console that I have because that was on National Lampoon's Vacation.
Right.
The first movie.
There you go.
Where Audrey's trying to map out, where Clark's trying to map out their trip on America. And Audrey and, what's his name, Rusty, they're playing with the joysticks and it's bullshit. Pac-Man. The Atari 2600, which is my first console I had as a kid. So the second generation is when I jumped in from 1976. Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
I'm done, man. It's all over for me. So second gen, then the third gen. I might do a topic on this later on.
So third gen would be NES then, right? NES
no,
Master
third gen's
System?
got this thing, the Video Pack G7 400, My Vision, the Payuta Junior. That must have been in India. Didn't have that one. The Sega SG-1000. I've got one of those.
Which was the SG-1000?
That's Sega's first console.
Okay.
The Nintendo Family Computer, which was the
Famicom, later became the NES.
which became the NES. Yep. The PV-1000, Super Cassette Vision. That must have been in Japan. Imagine the ad. Super Cassette Vision. Can you imagine the ad? It's a Pedia Grafica. Super Cassette Vision. So fucking racist. BBC Bridge.
Nice to see things have never changed.
No, fucking won't. You can go fuck yourself, you smashed avocado wimps. BBC Bridge Companion. What's this? LGAN Video Art. Zemex. Nintendo Entertainment System.
There you go.
Sega Mark III. I have one of those too. Family Computer Disk System. So this was the disk drive to the NES.
Gotcha.
Which was only released in Japan.
That's right.
Video Smart. Don't know that one. The Atari 7800.
Didn't you have one of those?
I've got
as well?
one. Yeah, they came out here. Sega Master System, Atari X.
The Master System 2 would probably fall into that too as well.
Yeah. No, the Master System 2 would fall into that, yes, because that was just a basically revised.
It was a RAM upgrade.
It was a RAM upgrade and a revised chassis, basically. Yeah. That's all it was. But I could keep going on. But that's how far back this shit goes.
So that's Gen 3, right?
That was Gen 3.
The
Gen
NES
3.
era was Gen 3. Okay.
Yeah, Gen 3. Fourth gen goes on to like PC Engine, Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive, TurboGrafx, CD, all that stuff. So yeah, that's how old we are. I'm kind of depressed.
We're old fucks, whatever.
Done. What's your next one?
Handsome Jack.
Oh, Borderlands.
Borderlands. I know Borderlands 3 has only recently come out and it's getting some pretty interesting reviews. But
okay, you know what? I'm playing through it now with Nervous Nathan and the Drunken Monkey. Shout out to those guys.
Sup, fellas.
It's funny, you know, the Drunken Monkey never really got into Borderlands and I didn't think he'd like it.
Yeah.
But he actually likes it and I don't dig it too much.
Not a fan?
It's not that I'm not a fan, it's just that I can't. It's to me, they've gone away from what I think made Borderlands. They've put in a hub world.
Yeah,
I fucking hate hub worlds. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you got an open world, then you put a sub open world in. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense at all.
So I first went into Borderlands 2. So because when Borderlands 1 came out, everybody said it's co-op. You all have to play it together. Blah blah. And I was never really that much into the whole mentality of it. So when Borderlands 2 came out. And that was my first experience with it where I could basically play alone because who doesn't play alone? And it was an awesome, weird, fun first-person shooter. And the loot was what made the game so unique. and there was... and I think it was the pre-sequel that came out, and which was the basically wholly Australian.
So you know
version.
what? I actually don't like the pre-sequel.
Yeah, I've played bits of it.
I found it very grindy. See, here's the thing: the Handsome Jack collection, was interesting because that combined, I think, Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel.
Yeah,
and
which is interesting that they didn't put 1 in there.
No, I don't.
2 and pre-sequel.
No. But you know what? So I've played 1, 2, pre-sequel, and now basically 3/4 of Borderlands 3.
Yeah,
and I'm going to say Borderlands 2 is the best. Because I think Borderlands 2 expanded the ideas of Borderlands 1.
Yeah.
And
new characters, similar abilities, but still interesting and fun and engaging.
It ironed out all the bits and pieces that weren't quite right with Borderlands 1. But the pre-sequel was a bit grindy and a step backwards, and it got a little bit too cute with the level design.
What I liked, though, again, talking characters...
was Handsome Jack.
Handsome Jack. Yeah, exactly. He was such a prick in Borderlands 2. And in Borderlands 1, in Borderlands pre-sequel... he's actually kind of relatable.
Yeah.
Like he's obviously one of the main protagonists in it, and he's the one that's causing all this shit to happen.
So did you ever play the Borderlands Telltale series game?
No.
Because
apparently that was great.
Baby. That's right. Because Handsome Jack was in that.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm going to add on that. Clementine was a great video game character in the Telltale series.
Yeah.
Walking Dead games.
That's a good one.
Clementine was great. I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but
no, this is part of it. Is that if I think of something, if you think of something that you want to add in, you just chuck it in.
But what's interesting is that Handsome Jack was a very big character in that Telltale series Borderlands game, and I think he was actually better fleshed out in that.
Yeah. Well, and again, because you've got a totally different style of game, it's much more story. It's much more story driven. It's much more character driven rather than also action and the actual standard elements of a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
So they would have had more free reign to go with the character, to give him more interest, to give him more story. But from an overall like villain / anti-hero kind of perspective, he's always a really fun and challenging bad guy. So I wanted to chuck him in on the list.
What's your next one, Super Simon?
Let's see here. So we're talking another classic game character here. We're talking Spyro. The purple dragon from the Spyro series.
I've never played it. Even the remake, I haven't played it.
So the HD remaster, the one that came out this year, absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
Such a beautifully designed, completely from the ground up rebuilt game, and just a really adorable, cute character. And again, what spawned a huge toy game series with the Skylanders, because that was originally a Spyro series. An enormous amount of characters and development and design went into a lot of those characters because there's hundreds of them, but also a really fun, interesting little dragon just as an add-on. Next one I want to talk about is Nathan Drake.
Oh, good one.
So this one is kind of
add one to that. Good, yep.
It's semi-controversial because he's sort of there's a lot of similarity you can draw between Nathan Drake and things like Indiana Jones,
Very Indiana Jones,
any other sort of like National Treasures with Christopher Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
But the character itself of Nathan Drake, with the backstory around being related to Sir, what's his name, Drake?
The Explorer. Francis
Drake. Thank you. Very cool back history to that.
Yep.
And engaging, funny. Nolan North, another great voice actor,
awesome.
Has always done a fantastic job with Nathan Drake.
Yep.
So adding him in there, whilst he's not the most original of characters, his abilities and his interaction has always made him great, and his play off with Sully always made for a great version of
So I was going to say, to add to Nathan Drake, what I loved about Uncharted is Sully was such a great character.
Yeah.
But I thought Chloe was great.
Chloe was fantastic.
So she appeared in Uncharted 2.
Yep.
And
as the love interest
she was in Uncharted 2 and they kind of dropped it a bit, I think. And he ended up with
the blonde.
The blonde. What was her name?
I don't remember.
I can't remember the name. She was the real love interest in the end. He dropped. But I always thought Chloe was great.
Yeah.
And that's why I had no problem with the Lost Legacy, which was like the spin-off side
with,
project she did
with the Aussie chick whose name I also don't remember.
Yeah, but she voice acted Chloe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a very cool. Again, that was a really nice, interesting spin-off.
So dumb question.
Yes.
The voice actress that did Chloe, was that the same actor that was in Farscape?
Yes.
It is, isn't it? Same one.
She has done an enormous amount
Yeah.
of game characters over the years. She did a lot. She did a character in Gears of War as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not Anya,
Anya.
Anya.
Well, Dominic's a good one. So there's
so Marcus and Dom were going to be they're on the list for later because the Gears series have been such an you know what, we'll go to Gears. We'll go to Marcus Phoenix and Dom, and not Toretto, that's from Fast and the Furious.
Who's the freight train again?
Cole.
Augustus
Cole. Cole train, baby. Woo! Sorry for blowing everybody's ears.
No, the mics are good these days. We can do it. We can rant and go, you know what, you're going to learn that the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, woo! We can do it.
For a game about essentially meatheads, the characters...
It's a dude bro shooter.
It is a dude bro shooter, but they're engaging characters. Like Marcus Phoenix is the very gruff, grizzled veteran, but he, again, voiced by John DiMaggio, who does Bender on Futurama.
Okay, yep.
Fantastic, really excellent voice acting. The guys have all done every character in that. So they've all got distinct personalities whilst looking fairly, similar, ginormous, roid rage up dudes. But the characters themselves have got interest. They're like the story of loss with Dom and his wife.
Yeah.
Marcus obviously trying to regain his father's love through all of the shit that happens in Gears 3. The relationship development between Anya and Marcus as well. Like, it's all really well done. And then obviously with Gears, I think it's 5.
Well, have you played 5?
I haven't played. No, so I'm talking 4.
Yeah,
so
Gears
5, 4 with his son.
Yeah, that's 4. That's 4. Was that on the Xbox One?
Yes,
that was 4.
That was the first
Yeah.
Xbox One released Gears game.
Yeah, so 4 that was.
Did you play 5?
I'm playing it now.
How is it?
I don't like it. I'm playing. Shout out to Rocket Russell and Other Mick.
Other Mick.
Yeah, we got like a little gaming syndicate, right? It's
Other Mick.
Yeah, well, there's 2 Michaels, right? But Other Mick, we play on a Tuesday night, and we've committed. See, it's so nerdy. So Monday night's a Formula 1 night with Nervous Nathan because he loves it so much.
Yep.
But Tuesdays we're playing Gears of War 5, and we were playing it on Tuesday just gone, And I said to these guys, I'm really sorry, but is it me? But this game's not doing it for me. And they said, yeah, it's grindy, isn't it? I go, yeah, it's shit. And what it is, yet again, I've done a podcast on this recently. They couldn't help themselves. They went down this open world route, Super Simon. And Gears isn't
Gears is a linear game. Gears has always been a linear game.
Exactly. So they've got it was at the start of the game. It's actually really good. And don't get me wrong,
you've got a path.
Don't get me wrong, it looks amazing, especially on an Xbox One X. You're like, holy fuck, this looks unreal.
And I'm imagining on a nice 4K TV.
It looks the shit, I'm telling you. But the problem is, it goes really, really well at the start. It's nice and linear. It's Gears as you know it.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't help themselves. They go on this open world thing, and at the start it's okay because it's basically going from point A to point B, and there's not much to distract you along that way. But then later on, you go to another big open world area, and they really have all these things they throw at you to distract you from where you want to be, and it slows the gameplay down to a halt.
That sucks.
And then when you do get off this particular vehicle that you're on, and you go looking for this like hidden area, it's so fucking grindy, it's not fun. And it got to the point I said to the other guys, look, you know what? Why don't we just stick to the main quest? I know we're going to miss out on part of the game and achievements and all the other bullshit, but I just can't be bothered with this game. And the story makes no sense. I don't care what Microsoft tells you, folks. It makes no sense to me at all. I am playing this game and I need a PhD to work out what the hell's going on. Whereas in the first Gears games, particularly the first one,
like Locust, bad, kill
you know
Locust.
Exactly. You know what was going
nests,
on. Yeah.
Beat game.
Yeah. And everyone beats up on Gears 4 a bit.
See Ram kill everybody.
That's right. But see, everyone beats up on Gears 4 a bit. But I actually think the story was better in Gears 4.
I liked 4.
The gameplay wasn't, it was a little bit off in certain places.
I think with 4, it was more them doing a new graphic skin, new characters, slightly different time frame.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'd killed the Locust, so they had to have some new enemy, which were the robot things. Because of course, when you need a generic bad guy, make it robots.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. It was a good game, and it was a beautiful looking game.
Gears 5 looks way better, man.
See, and that's the thing. Like, as their first stretch at Gears, was still 343, or is it now Microsoft Game Studio?
No. It was always the Coalition.
The Coalition.
So it's the Coalition still. It always has been. Actually, it was Epic originally.
Yes, that's right.
That when Cliffy B
Good old
was
Cliffy B.
Well, we talked about this before.
He's a great gaming character, Cliffy B.
You know what? He was. Like, I told the story ages ago on the podcast, and I told you where the first... I loved the first Gears game.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a fantastic game because it was so different.
It was, and it was the first game where it was a true co-op game other than Halo.
Yeah.
Right?
But Halo was weird co-op because
Master Chief was that's another gaming character, folks. Master Chief. We jumped the gun.
We'll get to him. But with Gears, it was designed that you could play the game, the actual story with up to 4 people.
Yeah,
and that's what made it so good.
Yeah.
Because at any given time, you had 4 characters that you were playing. You had your main 2, which was Dom and Marcus, and then obviously you had Cole and
Baird.
And those were your 4 main characters. And then as the game went on, I think with Gears 3, they introduced Jace, who came in with...
Yeah, this is where it goes off the rails for me. I actually think Gears today, and it started from 4, but certainly in 5 it takes itself way too seriously. Whereas in the original Gears games, it didn't take it...
so OTT.
It was so over the top,
yeah,
right? And you just went, you know what? Leave the brain at the door. But as you just said...
spectacle.
But as you said, bad guys, shoot, kill, right? And they were super roided up dude bros, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, oh, we're putting emotion into it. Oh, like there's Kate, right, who's this... I don't know what the fuck she used to be.
So is Marcus's son still in there?
Marcus's son's still in it. Okay. JD's still in it. Yep. But he's actually taking a back seat in Gears 5 at this point that I'm up to in the game, so I could be wrong. But there's a new character. I think she's... Oh, no, she's not a new character. She was in 4. I think she was in 4. But this Kate is the front and center of the game.
Right.
And we're all emotional now. And what they've tried to do is put more story into it and make it more theatrical and more sophisticated. But you know what? Gears was never sophisticated. It was a bunch of massive dudes using guns with chainsaws on the end of them and hacking shit up. right? That's all it had to be, and people were happy. But now they've gone all sophisticated. But the big problem I've got with it as a game is this open world bullshit, and it's slowed the game to a halt. And when it actually plays, it's a bit grindy. But any of those characters from the early Gears games that we've just mentioned, they're great characters.
Yeah.
What's your next? Oh, we said, do you want to go to Halo?
Let's do it. Let's
Chief?
do Master Chief. One of the easily one of the best first person shooter protagonists in the last, probably since Doom Guy.
Oh, I was going to say Doom Guy.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say Doom Guy. You know why? Because I'm replaying Doom now. Doom Classic.
On the Switch?
1990. No, I'm playing it on the PlayStation 4.
Nice.
And the original Doom Guy, no dialogue.
Yep. Didn't have to say shit.
Doesn't
didn't
say
have to do shit.
He
Had to run quick.
All he does is go
fuck shit up.
All he does is when he gets shot, or if he's hitting the wall, he goes when he's pushing up against the wall to find a secret passage, right? But he's not happy when he's got blood coming out of his face, or when he gets
you're getting fucked up,
or when he gets godlike abilities, his eyes go golden, right? And you
see, this is the thing: character development from basically a sprite of a person, like just a head, just a disembodied head, and it like look around,
and he doesn't say shit,
doesn't say a word.
You know what? The first time I saw Doom, obviously the other character we'll throw in is BJ from
Blazkowicz
from Wolfenstein,
Yep.
And obviously Wolfenstein had this the head of BJ didn't really move, whereas in Doom, if he got shot from the side, his actual head would move to one side.
I think they've added that in.
No, it was in the original.
Was that in the original as well? Okay.
So I remember that clearly, and that blew my fucking mind.
And the big departure, obviously, with the newer Doom games, so with Doom from 2016.
Doom 2016,
So that's when he goes to full Doom guy with the helmet,
exactly,
which was also in the multiplayer from
Well,
Doom
you
2.
know what? You could say Doom 3.
Doom 3 was when he was the first Royal Space Marine?
Yeah, that's when they changed it to a Space Marine, and that's when he was he landed on the Mars base, and there was more story, and they became more sophisticated because Doom 3 came out, I think, in 2003.
Yeah.
So it was way after.
Well, yeah, because Doom 2 came out, I think, 94 or 95.
It came out 94 or 5, because Doom original came out 93.
That game got played up until, 2000 at least.
Dude, I'm playing it now.
It's still great.
Well, you know what throws you out? The fact that you can't look up and down.
Yeah. Which we've become so accustomed to in games.
And you're like, it's actually hard at some point. You're like, I'm trying to aim and shoot that guy, but what like there might be
that auto aiming thing that we take for granted now.
That's right. But there's an imp up on the ledge up above you, and you're trying to shoot him with your shotgun.
As long as you're in like line of sight,
then it shoots him. But now it's kind of like a mind fuck. You're like, huh? What?
I need to aim up.
It's right. It's bizarre how far we've come. But that's so. We've Master Chief.
So Master Chief, we got a bit off topic with Doom Guy, but Master Chief.
But I was going to add Doom Guy,
and you can't talk Master Chief without talking Cortana.
Yeah.
And whilst everybody loves the dick sucking the dick of Master Chief because he's great and he's this amazing character, blah blah, I rate Cortana so much more as his emotional conscience, as his guiding light. She's his Jiminy Cricket.
I hated Cortana. I think was it Halo 3. Where she got corrupted.
Yeah.
And she's like, help me, help me, Master Chief.
Yeah.
And Pedro and I used to play it, right? And we still play it on Master Chief Collection. We're like, fucking shut up, Cortana. and then we used to be like, help me, Master Chief, and while you're at it, pick up some milk on the way home. Like, she was just so whiny. And go to Bunnings and get some nails because I've got to put up some paintings tonight. Like, fucking shut up.
With the exception of
you know what
Halo
I'm talking
3,
about? Where she got corrupted, I think.
And she started acting loopy. And
I think it was Halo 3.
It may have been 3. It was either 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But then when you get to, say, Halo 5.
I hated Halo 5.
Really?
I fucking hated it.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked Halo 5. I liked all the fucking the architect.
It was
things.
so not Halo.
No, it wasn't. But it was a cool addition to it. I like that they were bringing it. They're bringing new elements in.
So the question will be: we know that Halo Infinite's coming out at the end of next year with a Xbox Scarlet. Man, I know it's a launch game, and I know people will gravitate to it because it's a Halo game, and they haven't had a Halo game since Halo 5, effectively, apart from like Master Chief Collection or whatever else they've done.
Yeah, but they're just remasters.
Right. They've not only got to prove that console, they've got to prove that game. because Halo 5 was universally panned by people.
Yeah.
For the single player. The multiplayer, they reckon's the shit.
Yeah.
I've never played the multiplayer. I'm like, that's not my jam.
I played a little bit of local multiplayer, local co-op from like earlier Halos, but I've never been an online.
No, not me.
I've never been an online
player.
player.
Me either. But Master Chief, I guess, for a guy that has very little to say, has a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
Or presence.
He's got a lot of character.
Yeah.
He actually has, whilst again, as you said, he doesn't have many lines, but the lines he delivers with such force and such impact that they're actually important.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him a great character. And not just the fact that he's this super badass, semi-silent, killing machine, but the way he moves, the way he maneuvers and can carry his weapons and things like that. Like, it makes it for a much more interesting playthrough because the character, he does have some interaction. He has some feedback. And because he's got Cortana in his ear most of the time saying, giving him the direction and being his guide, it makes it for a much more interesting overall experience.
Yeah. What's your next one?
The complete opposite.
Dun, dun, dun.
A complete mute, somebody who was infamous at Black Mesa.
Oh, you're going to talk about Half-Life or Portal?
Half-Life. Gordon Freeman,
of course.
Because one of the most loved mutes in video game history, having not a single word of dialogue, but being able to interact with every other support character around him, be it Barney the security guard, any of the scientists that all sounded the same and had the exact same voice and character. But Gordon Freeman being another mute badass.
I love Half-Life 2 so much.
Half-Life 2 was one of my favorite games.
It's probably my favorite game of all time.
That's a big statement.
I know, man, but I will play that game so many times.
I still find new stuff.
It's not even that. It's just that I like it. And when I first played it, actually what happened was I built a PC Pedro built a PC for me. And it was originally to play Doom 3, but it was actually secretly to play Half-Life 2 later on down the line because it kept getting delayed.
Yes.
And so when it finally came out in 2004, the graphics card I bought had a voucher. And I had to download this little thing called Steam.
Back when it was still just a little thing.
And I'm telling you now, this is what makes me laugh. Everyone hated Steam.
Yeah, because it was fucking shit.
It was shit, right?
It's still shit. It's just
Tell me about it. But people think it's the greatest thing to ever come out. I hate that game. I hate that. I hate that fucking thing
you've
so much.
had this conversation with a lot of other people around the console.
No, I can't say.
This is how you fuck your host up, everybody. You say a word. Consolization of PC games.
Yes.
Because it is, as you've said, and I agree, I've agreed with you through my car stereo when I'm listening to you fucking rant about this.
You're damn right.
It makes a game playable on a PC. It means that you've got one location for all of your games instead of opening different applications and things. And like it makes that whole experience of select game, play game, go. There's no additional shit you have to do. It's all just there in the one spot. The problem is there's zero curation. There's zero capability around making the best games. It's anybody and their dog can put a fucking game up there. I could make something and put it up and it would be Chinese spyware.
That's why
and it will just go in and everyone will give it, a million ratings.
But that's why if you're an indie developer, I don't know how you survive on Steam because
you don't. You go to the Switch.
Well, that's where all the indie games are going, aren't they?
And they are absolutely raking it in.
Yeah.
I've been playing. There's this little game called My Friend Pedro.
Oh,
Not dissimilar to Your Friend Pedro, but with a lot less killing and bananas. My Friend Pedro is a fantastic, weird little indie game from Devolver. And it's basically a Max Payne style shooter with rating system. So the quicker and more fantastical you do with you do your killing, the better your rating at the end of the level.
I reckon someone's going to buy Devolver because they make
they
so
keep
many
making some
they make so many
stuff.
indie games. Someone's going to come along and go, you know what? We're gonna purchase you. I'm sure of it.
But yeah, completely off topic.
Next
Steam being still relevant. GLaDOS.
Oh yeah,
GLaDOS, by far the most terrifying and hilarious AI you'll
What was
ever
the
meet,
song?
with the exception of I think what was it called? I'm Still Alive.
I'm going to look it up because it was so good. Portal 2
Portal 2 was
is one of the
my
funniest
absolutely
games.
hilarious.
But
With
was
Cave
it-
Johnson. Cave
Johnson. And what was the voice?
Wheatley.
Yeah.
So Wheatley, voiced by Stephen Merchant from the
That's right.
UK office. GLaDOS, absolute amazing. A lot of people don't realize genetic life form and disk operating system.
Is that what it meant?
That's what GLaDOS means.
I'm trying to look for the lyrics.
I think we're alone now. Don't want to get sued. But GLaDOS as a character and as a motivator in Portal 1, as this cruel, mean, terrifying AI that's got shell training forever. With the stark contrast of her being the main anti-hero in Portal 2, where Wheatley becomes the villain.
Yeah.
Spoilers, obviously, for a game that's nearly a decade
Oh,
old.
what a game, though. But how clever was it?
A fucking puzzle platformer.
That's right, because people forget that Portal 1
was a test system.
It was a test.
Yeah.
It was an add-on for the Orange Box collection.
Correct.
Released in 2007 on the PS3 and the Xbox 360.
good.
And that had Half-Life 2. That had Team Fortress 2, I think it was.
It had TF2, it
And
had
it had
Orange Box,
had Portal.
Half-Life 2.
No, it didn't have Half-Life, just Half-Life 2.
Didn't they re-release Half-Life?
No, I don't think so, no.
Okay.
It was just Half-Life 2.
So it was Portal 1,
Yep. Team Fortress
Team
2.
Fortress 2, Half-Life 2, and there was something else in there, wasn't there? Blue Streak? Blue something?
There was something else on there, yeah. I've got it somewhere, actually. I've got the Orange Box collection. And I was so wrapped at the time that it was on the 360.
That was the very first remaster.
It was.
It was one of the first games that was officially remastered.
Although I still think the
re-released.
PC version was better, to be honest.
Probably was.
Yeah.
Because PC.
But guess right, Master Race. Is this how it goes? It goes, this was a triumphant. I'm making a note here. Huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction.
It is creepy how much you sound like GLaDOS through these headphones.
Aperture science, we do what we must because we can for the good of all of us.
The other, and
Except
again,
the
notable.
ones who are dead. But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. And
The
the
cake is
science
a
gets
lie.
done. And then you need a neat gun for the people who are still alive. And this is a bit I remember.
I'm still alive.
I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me and tore me to pieces and threw every piece into the fire. As they burned, it hurt because I'm so happy for you. Now these points of data make a beautiful line. And we're out of a beta. We're releasing on time. So I'm glad I got burned. Think of all the things we learned for all the people who are still alive. I think that's
Seriously, so fuck. It's like, it's one of those things you think of that they just put a bunch of words in as autocorrect and they just spat out a song.
Yeah.
But so GLaDOS being an amazing character, with a notable mention to Cave Johnson, voiced by the amazing J.K. Simmons, as most of people know from Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man trilogy is J. Jonah Jameson. One of my favorite video game lines of all time. It's like, when life gives you lemons, you get mad. I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these? And there's a whole fucking rant that is just absolutely amazing. And it, to this day, was one of the most recent video games to actively bring me to tears of laughter.
It was one of the funniest games ever. Because many games give you a little chuckle.
Yeah.
But that game was like so clever and so funny that you were like, I suck at puzzle games, but I needed to play that game to get to the end point because to see all the shenanigans. We're at 54 minutes, Super Simon. We've got plenty of time. We've got another whatever you want. Who you got next?
I've got some of the classics now. So we're talking Donkey Kong, Banjo and Kazooie, and let's go Sonic as well. So Donkey Kong originally as the villain, the very bad guy,
He was.
who stole Pauline.
Was it Pauline? Wasn't Peach's.
Before it was no. So Peach was Princess Peach from Mario, which we will obviously get to later.
Yep.
But Donkey Kong started as the villain in the titular Donkey Kong.
Yep.
Mario wasn't even Mario at that point. He was just Jumpman because he would have to jump over the barrels, climb up, use the mallet to try and get to various obstacles to get to Pauline to save her from Donkey Kong. It got to a point where Nintendo had this character that they had no real resurgence with until 1993 on the Super Nintendo with Donkey Kong Country, solidifying his status as one of the great video game characters due to absolutely incredible graphic design by Rare, character design, and also just personality and charm that you had from this, little 3D-ish sprite of Donkey Kong, like smacking the ground, jumping on, doing barrel rolls. Just a really fantastic, interesting character. And then obviously all the side characters that came with that, such as Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, Cranky, all of the other support characters that came in with the game as well. Up until, Smash Brothers, where he became a playable character on the N64. All the way, and he's been in Smash Brothers ever since.
So all those Nintendo characters are iconic. So you got Mario, Donkey Kong, Toad,
Peach, Yoshi, Luigi, Samus.
Samus.
There's a good probably 20 odd characters that are just standard in
Zelda,
and Link. Obviously, they're hugely important. And we'll get to them later on.
Did you ever play Breath of the Wild?
Did I ever play Breath of the Wild? I checked my playthrough on Breath of the Wild the other day when I was cleaning up my Switch, deleting some old games. 129 hours.
What a fucking game.
What a fucking game.
What a game, man.
And again, Link is another character that's had mostly silent adventures.
He's never spoken
a word other than like hiya and dying noises, that sort of thing. But Link and Zelda, and again, most of the characters have been silent up until Breath of the Wild, really, and giving Zelda true character and development, and all of the other additional characters that are around it. Their dynamic was the most realistic and the most believable in Breath of the Wild. And it's been this storied past of Link going to save Princess Zelda from whatever, horror du jour happens to be. The way that they've developed the character over the years, that he's not just this mute anymore. He may not say anything, but you can tell that there is conveyed love and conveyed affection for Zelda. And that's one of the things that I love so much about the series, is that over the last 30 odd years, they have developed it from just little person goes and save princess. Now it's their partners. They're intertwined. Their souls are intertwined through every single iteration, every experience that they've ever had. They are forever commingled, and it's beautiful. It's really, really
That's
touching.
why Nintendo have got such strong IPs, because all their characters are iconic. But I just thought of one before I forget.
Go on.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
It leads to a question. Snake. Metal Gear. Right? And all that shit in the Metal Gear universe.
Yep.
Which leads me to a question.
Guns of the Patriot. Fucked you.
I'm going to be honest, man. I've never really been a Metal Gear fan. Right?
I'm going to admit something to you.
Yep.
I've never finished a Metal Gear game.
Yeah, me either.
I started playing Metal Gear 1. I started playing Metal Gear 3.
Yep.
And that was as far as I got into them.
Yep. So
it's just not for me.
So no, it's not.
But from a character perspective, everybody loves Snake.
Yeah, but
everyone thinks he's this really cool,
but all the
sly character.
All the characters that go with that, like Big Boss, and there's so many characters that I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Raiden.
Yeah.
Well, that was a game I played, was Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, which was a hack and slash type Metal Gear game set in the Metal Gear universe. Raiden, I should say, not Raiden. Raiden. But well, there you go.
Raiden from
Mortal Kombat. So, Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Yep.
Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage.
This is why it's such a big topic.
This is a beast.
Like this is a huge,
it's
huge,
a fucking
and
rabbit
it's
hole.
cavernous.
It's a rabbit hole.
Because I can go through this list. Obviously, I'm going to finish on things like Mario. I'm going to finish on things like Mega Man.
Yep.
But then there's there's characters like Kratos. There's characters like
Kratos.
Max Payne.
Yep.
There's characters like Pac-Man, Duke Nukem, Cloud,
Shake it, baby.
Geralt. Like there's I've made this list and there's so many.
The Witcher.
There is just so much depth because obviously you think about game characters like movie characters. There's an undefiable number.
Oh, well, there's also one of my favorite game characters that a lot of people don't think of really off the top of their head is Joel from The Last of Us.
See?
I love Joel.
Great example.
Right,
Joel and Ellie, their relationship,
right?
they're dynamic.
So Joel, people hate Joel, but that's why I like him because he was so effective as being a guy that was in it for himself.
But also not. The love that he had for that little girl wasn't his kid.
This is why. So, okay, you've obviously played it.
I haven't played the sequel yet.
No, it's not out.
Oh, okay. That's why I haven't played it.
That's why you haven't played it.
I missed it the first time around on PS3. I got it.
But you have played it on PS4.
I got the remastered and played through it as in-depthly as I could because I was so engaged with their dynamic.
So this is a big thing. And shout out to the Drunken Monkey, right? For years and years and years, we've had an agree to disagree debate on this.
Yeah.
How The Last of Us ends, how it ends, right?
Yeah.
And we also, there's some spoilers here, folks. If you haven't played The Last of Us by now, I'm sorry. It came out in 2013, but I'm about to give you some spoilers. So if you need to tune out, here's some tune out music.
Time to tune out. Listen to some
spoilers.
Music. Go outside.
Go outside.
Get some fresh
Don't
air.
listen to this bullshit any longer.
I love how you're advocating for our listeners not to listen.
I wouldn't. Fuck this podcast.
Skip to
102.
probably
1 hour and 2 minutes, 13 seconds. All right. So
from there, just probably miss the next little bit.
Spoilers. Okay. So you know that at the end of the game, Joel takes Ellie away from the Fireflies. Is it the Fireflies?
Can't remember.
What was the name of the bloody...
The dickheads.
The Resistance, whatever they're called. They were the Fireflies. The other dickheads, right?
Because there's the dickheads that are trying to do the experiments, then there's the dickheads that are trying to beat them.
So the dickheads doing the experiments.
Yeah.
They say that they want to extract Ellie's... I guess
Bone
DNA,
marrow,
all that blood, whatever it is, basically kill Ellie.
Yeah.
So that
they can try and build a...
They can synthesize a vaccine for this virus, right? And they're pretty confident they can do it. I'm sure it was the Fireflies, but I could be wrong.
And it's that whole one life to save humanity, and he couldn't do it because...
Well, so here's the thing, right?
That's his girl.
That's right. So he takes Ellie, right? And he runs out of the building, out of the hospital.
Yep.
And basically kills a whole bunch of fireflies. I think they're fireflies. If I'm wrong, folks, I'm sorry. He kills them all, right? And he takes Ellie out. And at the end of the game, it's so awesome. He says to Ellie, he looks her in the eye when she says, "So they couldn't find a cure. They couldn't use my body. They couldn't."
Yeah, she was flat out lies to her.
She was willing to sacrifice herself to kill this virus, right? The plague. And Joel looks at her dead in the eye and says, "No, they couldn't do anything for you, so I took you home."
Yeah.
Right? But he actually stole her and killed a bunch of fireflies and out of the hospital.
Right, it is fireflies.
It is the fireflies.
It's the infected, the fireflies, the cannibals, and then the hunters and the military.
Yeah, so the fireflies are the resistance, I think. They're the military / scientists that are trying to find a cure for this thing.
Yeah.
And he takes Ellie out, right? And the fireflies go, "We are really certain that Ellie will help us find a cure for this disease," right?
Yeah.
And he lies to her at the end. Now, the Drunken Monkey and I have agreed to disagree on this, and shout out to him. He's probably banging the steering wheel going, "You bloody got it wrong." He's Cockney accent.
You've got it wrong, Dan. It's not right. It's completely wrong.
It's completely wrong. I bloody didn't say that, you friggin' jammy dodger. Now he's really going off.
Now he's going to be fucking...
Now he's
that fucking piece of shit. I'm going to throw a fucking brick at him.
Are you having You know, he rang me the other day.
You having a fucking laugh?
He rang me the other day. I couldn't say a word on a podcast. I couldn't say apocalyptic. I still can't say it.
Apocalyptic?
I can't say it.
Attaboy.
And he rings me up and he goes, "Oh, I'm looking for Retro Dan, the guy that can't say a popper. Motherfucker was teasing me, right? Now it's my turn to get back at him.
It's not nice to make fun of people who are impaired.
That's right. Half my praise in a fucking jar somewhere. I know it is.
I've seen it.
I'm going to fucking find it.
Oh, I found it. Didn't I tell you?
No.
Oh, yeah. There's a pop-up lab. There's people can go and pay money to see your brain in a jar.
Serious?
Yeah.
I'm going to find it. Anyway, he rings me up and he says, "I'm looking for the guy that says a popper. Fuck you, man." It was like a fish called Wanda.
Come to
Do you like the fish? Ken? Anyway, we've agreed to disagree for years about.
So what's his thought on it?
He hated the fact that he didn't have a choice. He wanted like a choose your own adventure where you could choose,
let her die.
You could leave her die and be with the Fireflies and let them do their experiments on her, or you could choose for Joel to take her away. And I said no. That's not consistent with Joel's character. Joel was always in it for himself. He did things for himself. When he first took Ellie across the country to the Fireflies, right? When he got that job,
originally he was a courier.
He was getting payment, right?
But it wasn't until the journey that he fell that he found love for her.
Well, he actually
he became the father that she lost.
Well, she became the daughter he lost.
Yes,
right.
Sorry, the daughter.
So remember, his daughter dies at the start, right? So I said to the drunken monkey, "I respect what you're saying, but I think it's consistent with his character. He was in it for himself. Even when he took the job on, he didn't really want to do it, but he was doing it for money because he was getting money out of it, right?" Yeah. So I thought it was a really great way to end that game. It was almost perfect where it was consistent with his character. He was a prick. He was in it for himself. Yeah. And that's why Joel to me is one of the great gaming characters of all time because he wasn't a nice guy.
No.
He wasn't at all.
But he developed through the course of the game.
No, he was being selfish. He was still selfish in his relationship with Ellie.
But he was selfish to a point of what a father would do.
Yes, but he was not really doing the right thing for humanity.
No, absolutely. But also, it's an impossible choice. You can't have that.
But if he was doing the right thing for humanity, because the Fireflies had told him, "We're pretty confident if we have Ellie for a bit, she's going to help us find a cure."
Yeah.
Right. And he said, "Okay, cool." And he actually She was willing.
Yeah,
she was willing. She actually wanted to do it. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
So she was willing to go there, and she went there. And then he fucking abducted her
because he couldn't bring himself to the fact that she would have been harvested.
That's right.
She would have been destroyed.
That's right. So this is why I'm worried about the next game because I'm like, I don't know how you can top that.
Yeah, that's it.
Like that game
ended on such a melancholy note that humanity's fucked.
Ring a ding ding, baby.
Humanity's fucked. The clickers and the infected are still there. There's nothing they can do. This girl is the key, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be about fighting the military, who are way better funded, way better capable, and fighting the infected. It's going to be that, and the story is going to be how they're constantly being pursued.
See, I'm really worried about
That's
it.
my guess.
I'm sure it's going to look better on better hardware because the PlayStation 4, even though they did the remaster, originally it was designed on the PlayStation 3. I'm sure it's going to look amazing. I'm sure it's going to play all that much better as well.
And Naughty Dog are
they're
known
masters
for making great games.
They're magicians, right? I don't know how they get games to look the way they do, right?
Crack cocaine.
I don't know. They're you know what? I'm gonna call it now. Naughty Dog are fucking better than Rockstar. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it because I tell you why. Rockstar. It's a fucking
pretty reasonable call. But you know what? You can't. Whilst play through, this is the difference, right?
You know why I say that?
You play a Naughty Dog game. Plays like a Naughty Dog game. Plays great. Looks great. Great characters.
Wasn't always their chink in their armor is the gameplay sometimes. Like I will admit, when playing The Last of Us, I mean, it was a bit clunky, with the shooting, clunky with the cover system, clunky with Ellie running in front of the enemies and
bad AI,
bad AI, weird AI, dumb AI.
Weird AI.
Like, okay, yeah. But you know what? When Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, that was not a great game. It looked technically unbelievable.
Well, that's
unbelievable, but it was not.
But you think about it this way: Rockstar do make great games. GTA 5, which came out in 2014,
was way better than
is
RDR2.
still being played.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's still being played.
Yep.
They're still patching it. They're still
Yep.
supporting it. It's got a massive online community. It is a game that came and there are. I'm not going to try and sound naive to think that there are games that are older that aren't still being played. I get that, but when you think about the concept of a GTA game that came out 2014 is still one of the top selling games. It's still being played. It's still got massive amounts of online play, and people are still playing it. That's great. Can you tell me any like Trevor from GTA 5? Weird, hilarious, super bizarre character.
That game, I don't understand why people didn't like that game as much as I did, because I thought
shat all over 4.
Oh yeah,
it was as good as 3.
But I liked 4.
4 was 4 was great.
Yeah,
but 5 was so much better.
5 was awesome.
Yeah,
I think
the heists and the building the crew was so cool.
I think 5's one of their best games. And so when Red Dead Redemption
Max
2
Payne 2 is their best game, hands down.
Was it 3? Rockstar did Max Payne 3.
They did, but Max Payne 2 was their best game. In my
I thought
opinion.
3. I thought Max Payne 3 was great.
3 was great, but 2
great
just
character too. Max Payne.
Another fantastic
Max
character.
Payne in Max Payne 3
Yeah.
was awesome. He was that alcoholic guy, and they did such great like camera work where it was flashing because he was like
seeing his drunken stumblings.
Yeah.
And he's there as this security guard, and he's also an absolute pisshead.
Yeah.
And he's a pill popper, which
Yep.
we know because that's how he gets health. But that game played so well.
Oh, it was awesome.
And it looked amazing.
Oh, it was awesome.
And it was hard.
Yeah.
It was fucking hard.
Yeah, it was very tough. But you know what? At that time, I think it came out before Grand Theft Auto 5, I want to say.
Yeah, it did.
Because I remember playing
Max Payne 3, I think, was
12?
13?
12, I thought.
Yes,
or 11,
2012.
Or 11.
2012.
But it came out, and I'm thinking, you know what? That's setting up GTA 5 really nicely because the cover system in it wasn't bad. The gameplay wasn't bad. And GTA 5's gameplay I thought was okay. But you know what? I'm calling it now. Red Dead Redemption 2's gameplay is a backward step compared to GTA 5.
Really?
I'm calling it. And
May 29th, 2012.
It was 2012.
That's right. It was the day before I got it, day before my birthday, and I played it all day.
It was a great game.
So good.
Yeah, the only complaint I got about it, the trophies were shit. Yeah. You didn't get many trophies.
And they were few and far between.
And they were bullshit trophies too, like, oh, shoot 100 bullets out of the sky or some crap. It annoyed me. But no, Max Payne was a great character. And going back to Joel and Ellie, awesome characters in their own right. But I love Joel because he was a great anti-hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was like the Tony Soprano of video games. He was an anti-hero. He was in it for himself, and it was unashamable. Like, he was unashamedly in it for himself.
Yeah.
Right? And I love that because most of the time heroes are like Nathan Drake. They're heroes. They're good guys. And for a change, he was like dark and...
Well, Nathan Drake's a thief, so he's good. He's a good thief, but he's still a thief.
Yeah, but Joel was 100% selfish, in it for himself.
He was not a character that you could easily identify with.
Or should like.
Yeah.
Or should feel sorry for, but you did.
Yeah.
Right? Because when his daughter died, you felt sorry for him and you actually forgave him for all of his sins later on.
Yeah.
Right? So when he took Ellie from the Fireflies at the end, you're like, I kind of get that because at the start of the game, he lost his daughter. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why when I used to say to the Drunken Monkey, shout out to him, I respectfully disagree with you because that's consistent with his character. He's getting his daughter back in his eyes and he doesn't give a shit about the world.
Yeah.
The world can burn.
Yeah.
He's fucking done with it.
It's still being selfish, but with adding an additional person to that selfishness.
Exactly. And I don't know how they're going to top that, man. I'm worried about it.
It's going to be a very interesting
thing.
How
are they going to top that game?
So I got...
What else you got on your list?
I got a couple more.
What? Hit me with it.
Where am I? Let's go through because we've sort of mentioned a bunch. Where are we? So we've done Cortana. We've done Kratos. So talking talking Rockstar, John Marsden.
Oh, great! Oh, what a character
from the original Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, see how good Red Dead was great. Like, it was so much better than RDR2.
Easily one of the greatest games of its generation.
And I'm going to call it too one of the best endings of all time.
Yes. Couldn't agree more.
I couldn't believe
Could
that
not
ended.
agree more.
What that
'Cause
ending?
no one saw it fucking coming.
And I actually remember restarting the checkpoint, thinking, "Oh, how am I going to beat this?" Because again, spoilers.
Yeah.
Sorry. Spoilers coming up, folks. If you don't.
For another game from over a decade ago.
It came out 10 years ago. Spoiler.
Did you just push it once? There you go.
Don't need Jason relaxation. So at the end of the game where you're in the barn,
Yeah.
and you got all the outlaws approaching you, the very first time I played it, because I've played it twice now.
Yeah.
And the very first time I played it on the Xbox 360, I was like, okay, this is going to be tough, but I'm going to have to take all these guys out. And I must have spent quite a bit of time like hiding and crouching and picking them off as I could. But for some reason, obviously the game was telling you can't win. This is
an unwinnable
battle. But I didn't know that, right? Because most games you have to fight your way out of.
Yeah,
it, right?
absolutely.
So
they make it tricky. It's like one of the last parts of the game.
So I'm thinking I have to fight my way out of this barn, and then I'll get to like outside, and the credits will roll.
Yeah.
Right. So I spent so much time fighting these guys, and they kept coming, and so the game had obviously been built with they just keep coming, right? And I died. I'm like, fuck, how am I going to get out of this? So I reloaded the checkpoint, right? And I still died. I went, reloaded the checkpoint. And in the end,
do I keep dying?
But what happened was I died, and then one time I just sat there getting really frustrated with it, thinking, oh, this game's being ruined by this end of like bullshit game with this silly ending.
It wasn't until you let it play out.
And I let it play out by accident, and then the credits rolled, and I went, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you can't win. So, again, John Marston was a great anti-hero too.
Yeah, because he was a bad guy. He was an outlaw.
Well, he was a guy...
He had his motivations.
Yep.
He had his reasons for doing everything he was doing, but he was a bad guy.
You know what was great about John Marston was that he was always a good guy in the game, but he kept on saying, I'm just trying to right my wrongs.
Yeah.
Because he was he was trying to find Dutch.
Yeah.
And he'd set up earlier in the game, well, I was once in a gang and I wasn't once he kept saying I wasn't once the man I used to be.
Yeah.
So he was clearly setting up very early in the game, I'm not this great guy you think I am, folks. And that was a great anti-hero. And you felt so sorry for him. And at the end when he died, I was shattered.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck off.
Genuinely affected by it. Because he'd gone through this whole redemption arc. He'd done what he needed to do.
Yeah.
He'd gotten his revenge. And then it was like, well, this is what happens.
What an ending.
This is the comeuppance
What
you
an
get.
ending.
So good.
What an ending.
I think the tack on with Jack at the end, I think was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, you know
I think
what?
that they should have just ended it where they ended it.
Yep.
And let credits roll.
Well, you know what? I'll say this.
I'll
say this.
It was more just that it removed some of the gravitas of his end.
So here's the thing with Red Dead Redemption, the second time I played it, I didn't realize how much busy work there was in it. So at the start of the game, you're actually rounding up cows. And I know what the game's trying to do. It's trying to teach you the controls.
Yeah.
But then at the end, you spend all this time doing all this busy work. You go back to your ranch, you meet up with your wife. She says, let's go into town and meet Miss McFarlane and get some cattle or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And that takes 5 minutes. Then you chat to her for 5 minutes and you're like, fuck me, can we just finish this game now? And then right at the end, you're right. You play your son, and I think you got to round up more cows. And you got to go into town, you see your father's grave or something, you do something at the end. I can't remember
press
exactly.
Press X to pay respect.
Yeah, that's right. Or press square to pay
square.
To pay respects. I
will say this is my favorite thing about, and I've probably told it on this podcast before, but when playing it on Xbox 360, whenever you needed to ride the horse, you'd have to press Y.
Yep.
So it always came up with ride horsey, because the Y was like in line with. It just every time I saw it, it cracked me up, which was a billion fucking times.
That's why you got to play it on PlayStation.
Press X.
It's
Horse
triangle.
X. Horse X.
Horse X. No, John Marston was one of the great video game characters. And again, this is unfortunate. That's why Red Dead Redemption 2 couldn't live up to Red Dead Redemption.
Because it didn't.
Even though technically it was superior.
Is he in it?
Who's that?
Is John Marston's
Yes,
not?
yes, he is.
in it.
Very, very. Yes, he is.
Is he the main character
No,
that
he's
you
not.
play?
No, he's not. No, and that you know what? That kind of pissed me off. He plays a much younger version of himself because
Right.
it's a prequel.
Gotcha.
So it actually, it's when he is in the Dutch Vandalen gang.
Yeah.
But my problem with Red Dead Redemption 2 is there's a lot of reasons with it. I'm not going to go through all those problems, but one of the problems I found with it is that the game, which was a prequel, didn't really set up John Marston's story, in my opinion, well enough.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything for him because Red Dead Redemption, it's all about him escaping the hand of Dutch Vanderlei and his gang and all that sort of stuff. So, what's the history with Dutch Vanderlei? What's the history with the gang?
What's the intrigue?
What's the intrigue?
What's
That's
this
when you're
about?
playing Red Dead, right? Yeah. Then when you play Red Dead 2 and you're like, okay, tell me about this gang and tell me how. And what I couldn't work out with Red Dead 2 is, yes, John Marston's in it, but so are these other characters, and it kind of like waters him down a bit. But what I couldn't get my head around and what didn't make it clear to me, and I'm probably the idiot here, I couldn't understand why people were drawn to Dutch Vanderlei. What was so special about him? Or Vandalen, sorry. What was so special?
Is he the main character?
He is, yeah. What's so special about him?
Was
you
he
know what I mean?
charismatic?
Fucks me.
Was he interesting?
They didn't say shit about it.
Jeez.
So why him?
Classic rock star.
Why him?
You see, and it's
You know,
such
like I couldn't work it out. Like, why were people drawn to him?
It's
why
such
were
a
people
weird
putting up
thing.
with his shit? Was what I was trying to work out.
That's it. Like, why would they, having had such a hit and a masterpiece on their hands with the original Red Dead, why would they then go and try, like, if not continue the story after the death of John Marston, why not do an entirely different character? Like, not related. Don't do...
Well, they did. They did.
No, what I'm saying is that, because the two are intertwined, right? So you've got Red Dead 2 is a prequel, essentially, to Red Dead 1. To Red Dead Redemption.
But they did. They did Arthur Morgan. Arthur Morgan's the main character in Red Dead Redemption 2.
What I'm saying is that have a completely non-related character in that world.
Well, they did. I'd argue they did. So
You said it's part of the same gang.
it is, yeah. But in that,
So then it's related.
Potato. So what I'm trying to say is that in Red Dead Redemption 2,
Yeah.
the main character of that game's Arthur Morgan. Okay?
Right.
And I didn't really gel with Arthur Morgan as a character for some reason. I didn't think he was... For some reason, I didn't like him as much as I like John Marston.
Okay.
Maybe that's just a personal thing. I didn't hate him. Don't get me wrong. This was beautifully voice acted. It was beautifully voice acted, right?
Yeah.
Looked amazing.
Well, that's it. The game
Controlled,
they look fantastic.
Controlled like a piece of shit. I'm sorry, the controls were fucking terrible. I've played indie trash that controlled better than Red Dead Redemption 2. That's a fact, right? And some of the story just plotted.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck me, this is so boring, right? It's like listening to this podcast. Jesus Christ.
Well, I got two more for us.
So just to go back to that, the main character of Red Dead Redemption 2 was Arthur Morgan, and it was his story.
Right.
But John Marston was like the young kid hanging around the gang.
Gotcha.
And what my problem was with that is I couldn't work out in the game, at least in my opinion, didn't make it clear as to why John Marston, apart from being picked up from the street as like a starving young kid, why was he hanging around Dutch Vanderland?
Yeah.
It didn't make that
There
really
was
clear, apart from
no-
being picked up as a street kid.
Right.
Which,
There was no real motivation for
no,
him to be
I
there.
didn't see the motivation clearly. No, that was my problem with it. What's your last one?
Well, I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the two biggest character rivals of the modern gaming era, aka Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario. I mean, sure, why not? But for the longest time growing up, it was Sega versus Nintendo.
Yeah.
And each had their own individualized character who was their mascot, Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario. Arguably two of the most iconic game characters of all time. There was a thing that came out a couple of years ago where Mario was more recognizable than Mickey Mouse because of just the sheer change.
Well,
in
you know what? Here's
demographics
the
in
thing,
world.
right? Nintendo really have the Disney collection of video game characters, right? So
Absolutely.
you could easily, I'm sure you could easily do it. Not that I'm saying they are going to do it or ever would. You could stick Nintendo characters in Disneyland, and people would be like, "Oh, they're one and the same."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
so, what they're doing at Universal Studios in Florida, they are making a Super Nintendo world. No, that's not. It's not a conspiracy.
Oh,
That's happening.
It is, man. Alex Jones is going to come out and goes, "I believe that Disney are an evil corporation."
No, it's not Disney. It's
And
Universal.
Universal and evil corporation alongside Nintendo. They are making characters and theme parks that are going to seduce young men. And then those young men are going to have their semen extracted for interdimensional aliens who are going to come and mind control all of us. I have this on good authorities, and you need to check this out on infowars.com.
So, back to the non-conspiracy side of things.
What's your last character?
Well, Mario.
Mario.
So Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously, Blue Speedster, been in a variety of games of varying quality.
Well, you know the story behind Sonic? Is that Sega recognized that they didn't have a mascot like Nintendo did.
Yeah.
They had Mario, and Sega went, well, we need something similar, but we want to be cool, and we want to be like we want bad kids to be drawn to our console, and the goody two-shoe kids can go to the Nintendo.
That's fair.
That's what it was in the 80s, 100%.
Yeah.
I've read a book for, I guess it's the marketing book from Sega America, back in the, what's his name, Tom Kalinske years, where he was the president of Sega America, and they 100% went about their task of making the console look very different from the Nintendo system in terms of the games that were on there. And so when Sonic was developed, they made a conscious effort, not Sega of America, Sega of Japan, made a conscious effort of making their mascot very, look fast and cool and very different from, Mario, which was slow and that was what they were trying to do,
But that was the whole thing, is that Sonic was so fast.
Yeah.
You got to go fast.
Some people hate Sonic.
Yeah, I know.
Some people despise it.
The concept of it is great. It's impossible to play in certain circumstances because it's so fast.
I personally don't like it.
Not a fan?
No, because I was more of I preferred Mario.
I was a Mario kid growing up as well,
Yeah.
but I liked the concept of Sonic because it was different.
That's what I
It
mean.
wasn't Mario.
That's what I mean.
You could not play Sonic on a Nintendo. That's why I liked it.
Do you know that they tried all sorts of bullshit, Sega of America,
Oh, yeah.
for their marketing, right? And they
They
said,
could not beat Nintendo.
No,
They
well, you know what?
couldn't beat
No, they got close. They
Yeah.
actually got half the market share in Sega of America, right? And so the story is that they said that Sonic was so fast because they got blast processing, which is just bullshit.
That just sounds made up.
It was made up. It wasn't the hardware wasn't really anything special. It was just called a blast processor. And they said, the reason our games are faster is because we've got blast processing. Because you remember, this is in the Mega Drive eras or the Genesis era up there. But when the Super Nintendo came out, they had Mode 7. Do you remember Mode 7?
I remember Mode 7.
And Mode 7 was this bit of hardware that Nintendo had, which gave them better animation.
Yeah, well, that's what they pushed that with Star Fox.
No, that was the Super FX.
Super FX.
That was the Super FX chips. Star Fox, another one.
That's another good game.
He's up there on my
he's on your
calendar. Star Fox. I fucking love Star
those
Fox,
weird
man.
puppet-looking things. It's so strange.
I love Star Fox. Fuck. Where is it, man? Where is it?
Lilac Wars, one of my favorite N64 games.
Yeah, but where is it here on the Switch? Where is it?
I
Where is
know.
it?
I know.
What are they doing?
I know. I couldn't agree more. It was in that.
It was on the Wii U. The last Star Fox.
No.
game.
There was a Star Fox was in that weird game hybrid. You know when you got the toys in the game that was pretty shit.
That was a.
That was a third party.
That was a third party thing. What
but
was
that was
that
Nintendo
game?
exclusive. It was.
It was, but they
Atlas Cloud something.
Was it Star Atlas? No, that was a fucking movie.
That was Cloud Atlas.
That was
terrible movie. Fucking shit movie. Hang on, I'm gonna look it up now. Star Fox.
What was the movie? What was that fucking? And there were toys. You attached the
Yes,
toys.
that's the one.
What was it called?
Starlink. Battle
Starlink.
for Atlas.
Okay, that was the last Star Fox appearance, wasn't it?
That is the first and only current Star Fox appearance on the Switch, other than Smash Brothers.
Oh, come on, man. You got...
So Smash Brothers, I feel deserves an honorable mention before we get onto the big red Mario. That it's this magnificent conglomeration of characters from all across gaming culture. So you've got your Street Fighter characters. I mean, and again, that's another one we haven't even touched on is Street Fighter. So Ryu, Ken, E-Honda, Chun-Li. It's such a massive thing, is game characters and memorable and loved characters. And I apologize to anybody who's listening who's probably yelling at us to say, why didn't you say so-and-so? It's because my brain only has so much.
As soon as we turn this thing off,
we'll have 60 more that'll come back to us.
We'll have 100 million. You know what my last character is?
Who?
Sam Porter Bridges. Death Stranding.
Norman Reedus.
I'm going to put
Swallowed the baby.
Hideo Kojima. He's the biggest.
He's the favorite video game.
He's the
character.
biggest. He's my favorite video game character. That motherfucker is so wacky. Yeah. Right.
He's up there. Like you've got Suda51 as well. You got Reggie.
Yeah. Well, Reggie's gone.
I know he's gone, but
gone.
still, like he was instrumental in the video game success of Nintendo.
He was. I miss all those guys. They're all gone now. We got proper executives now, and they're not fun.
Except Doug Bowser.
That's a cracker.
Is hilarious that his name is Doug Bowser.
He made fun of it.
Yeah,
he said,
of course he did.
What did he say? He said something on a press release.
Like I was born to work for Nintendo.
Yeah, something like that. I was born to work for Nintendo or some bullshit.
But yeah, okay. Before we finish up, let's talk about Mario.
Yeah, what's your problem?
No problem. I love Mario. I have loved Mario. I have cosplayed as Mario. I have I have actively shaved my face to have a Mario mustache most of the time. And he is just this fantastic, approachable, interesting character. He's basic motivation, save the princess to start with. Now he goes on high-flying adventures through different worlds and galaxies.
See, in the
racing cars and playing fucking polo.
And Super Simon, in the days of equality, the princess can save herself.
Absolutely.
Fucking oath she can.
Absolutely. And that's why in Smash Brothers, I think Peach is slightly more powerful.
And that's the end of the podcast.
But yeah, what's your favorite Mario memory?
You know what? I actually didn't have an NES as a kid. I was deprived as a child. I didn't have those sorts of toys. No, I used to play that at a friend's place, and one of my cousins had a NES.
Yeah.
So I can't honestly say I had other than visiting someone's house and going, "Oh, this is amazing. This is way better than my Atari 2600.
Yeah.
Fuck this," and actually even better than my PC. At some points, but I can't say I've got any major memories of Mario. I can't say.
Well, it was my very first Game Boy. 1989, I was maybe like 5 or 6 years old, and my aunt had come back from overseas. For my brother and I had bought us an original grey Game Boy. And we each got a copy of Mario, and we each got a copy of Tetris, and it came in the nice box.
Oh yeah, Tetris.
And it was for my birthday, and it was the most surreal experience.
You know what? The first time I saw a Game Boy, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, Game & Watches were the shit.
Yeah.
You know, the old Donkey Kong flippy one? And I was like, oh man, because in the schoolyard, that was the thing. If you had a Game & Watch and it was a flippy Donkey Kong one,
you were the fucking coolest kid
in
school.
You made it, right? And then I saw some kid have a Game Boy. I'm like, that's pretty impressive. And some other kid had an Atari Lynx. I'm like, oh, it's color. Fuck the Game Boy. You know what I mean?
Fuck the Game Boy, but who survived that console?
Well, that's right. I always backed the wrong horse, man. I always backed the wrong horse.
But that turning it on and hearing the Mario theme on the Game Boy for the first time and having this little sprite of probably about 10 or 12 pixels in size, and then when he got his first power mushroom and that growing, and it was just, I was hooked. And then from there it was Nintendo all the way. We were always a Nintendo house. We never owned a Sega piece of hardware, but anything that was Nintendo. I know. This was the thing. I've been a Nintendo fanboy since I was a kid, and Mario has been
even with the Wii.
Even with the Wii.
You're waggling that
I
bullshit.
waggled the Wii,
That was
baby.
the worst. That was the worst console ever.
It may have been the worst console ever, but it had some great games.
Like what? Oh, you actually did. It had one that was in black and white. What was that game in black and white? You know what I'm talking about.
I know the one you're talking about. I don't remember what it was called.
It was actually a really good game.
Shit. That was a launch title too.
No,
it was
came
early.
out-
It was
early.
title.
It wasn't a launch title. What was it? It was a black
But
and white one.
it was done. It was sort of like a mix of the Warriors because they had the two narrators that were talking about your success in killing the
Yeah.
things, and it was all like black and white with red. Damn it! What was it called? I'm gonna have to look that up now.
What's your like? You got any other characters, Super Simon? Is that it?
There's, like I said, there's probably a million that I've missed
There's hundreds, man.
that I can't remember.
But
But
my bladder can't take any more.
well, if you need to chuck a piss, let's chuck a piss.
Have you got everything?
I think that's it.
You got no more left on your list.
Any that you can think of?
Probably after I finish. And they go, God damn it!
I've got
What?
one.
Uh,
We talked about Link, didn't we?
Yes.
Did we talk about Lara Croft,
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
another good one. Honorable mentions: so Kratos, Lara Croft,
Yep.
Pac-Man, one of the original video game.
Yep. We talked about
mascots
all the Mortal
and
Kombat
Duke
combats.
Nukem.
Oh, Street Fighters.
Street Fighter.
So all the like the Street Fighter characters. There were so many of them.
So yeah, I think
remember
that's. I mean, I feel we should probably have one more mention of the good old that little yellow piece of shit Pikachu.
See,
I was never a Pokemon kid.
I don't understand.
Never was a
any of
Pokemon
this
kid.
shit. And you know when people are walking, what was it, Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
People are walking around the neighborhood looking for fucking Pokemons. I'm like,
The
and
fuck
you know
is wrong
what?
with you people?
I remember being at work, and everyone was looking for Pokemons.
Yeah.
And near where I worked, there was a gym.
Yeah.
A Pokemon gym, right? And they were at lunchtime going, oh.
Your brother and I,
Right.
They're all walked around.
They were collecting Pokemons. You know what I used to say to them? You have no right ever to make fun of me. If I come back from lunch with a JB Hi-Fi bag full of friggin' games,
Yeah.
don't
Can't
make fun
say
of me.
shit.
Because they
Cannot say shit.
They used to make fun of me, right? And now when they were going around looking for fucking imaginary monsters, that's another level, man. If you're leaving your house looking for imaginary monsters,
A buddy of mine was playing a Pokemon Go clone. I think it was a Harry Potter one. No, yeah, Harry Potter one. And he was actually driving slowly so that he could walk his egg, and he crashed his car.
see, this is what I mean. And there's another game, Super Simon, where these people get in a van and it's like a surveillance thing and they look for like fake radars or some bullshit. And when they find it's like capture the flag, but it's, you got to get in your car and drive to that flag and capture it.
That's weird.
Oh, man. See, I look pretty good.
I've
feel.
not
I
heard
don't
of
leave
that.
my house. I sit on my couch with my hand down my pants and I play my PlayStation with one hand. That's all I do. Judge me if you want.
I wouldn't dream of it.
That's why I like you, Super Simon.
Should we call it?
I'm calling it. Have you got?
Busting for a piss?
I'm pretty close. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Have you said everything you wanted to say?
I have said everything I want to say for now. You'll have to have me back.
Well, yeah. At some point, if you can find the time, Super Simon, you're very popular.
For
these days.
you, I will make the effort, like I did today.
If I had a heart,
It'd be ticking.
something would happen. I don't know what would happen.
I'll tell you what. I'll get you another soldering iron. You can unseal your tear ducts.
Yeah, I know. Until then.
Until then,
Thank you, Super Simon, for coming in. I really appreciate it, man.
thank you for having me. It's been a blast as usual.
Thank you, Sock Puppet Jason, for being you. Don't go changing. Thank you, Retro Dan. You have been informative as well as Super Simon. I must say, you looking good, Super Simon.
Oh, thank you. You guys have been so cool.
Thank you, Mr. Polly Pissy Pants. Jason, relaxation. We need to talk.
Get your ass back here.
Nah, he's changed, mate. He's gone. He wants to be part-time. Oh, I'm too busy. I've had a heart attack.
This was
Some
going to be
fucking
full
bullshit.
time. This was going to be full time, and now he's going part time. This is the opposite direction.
He doesn't like the changes, man. He can't deal with it.
I can't handle change.
I know. I can't either. Thank you for the two people who have been listening to this bullshit podcast. Thank you, Dad, for letting you choose your garage. I'm sorry I ran out about fucking gaming characters. I don't know what they are anymore. People used to tease me they look like a fucking Super Mario in the 80s because I was a fat wog. And if I grew a moustache, I'm sure people would think I'm Super Mario. I know it. In fact, I've got an uncle that looks like Super Mario, and when he eats the salami, I don't judge, but people fucking judge me all the time. I don't know why. It's a rabbit hole I can't get out of. It's something that needs to be improved on. Why do people judge me like that all the time? I don't know what it is.
You okay?
And next week, you little gaming characters and heroes and people that think you're Super Mario and chasing Pokemons down the street will have more Richard and more bullshit. But until then, you can roll it, monkeys.